Joe, I know the last couple of games obviously haven't gone the way you wanted, and the offensive line probably would have liked to have performed better. As you've evaluated the last two games, what in your mind have been the biggest issues that have cropped up specifically on the offensive line?
Just, I would just say consistency and in some cases the ability to adapt. You know what I mean? The ability to catch up to what was going on and then to just understand it enough to apply the reasoning to the next thing. And you know what? The one thing in the Illinois game that caught me is it was hard when new guys were getting into those spots to then have to execute. And I'm like, you know what? I look back and I go, shit, that's tough. You know what I mean? Because they didn't go through that experience themselves, and then you put them in it. So I've tried to stay with a more steady group, but that was the reasoning behind it.
Your players have also talked about that, especially the last two games, the other teams have done stuff on the field that they didn't necessarily show on tape, and they said that they thought that made it more difficult to adjust. Is that something that you noticed in any way?
Well, there's not a lot of film that you watch from week to week where teams line up maybe the way you plan on lining up on an offensive set or personnel group. So you have to kind of do your best to think what they would do to give them things to practice against. And sometimes we're really good, and then sometimes, people come up with things that are kind of tough, and like I said, one of the key parts of an O-line is being able to kind of keep adjusting and moving with the flow of the game. Okay, this is how they're taking away this, or this is what they're bringing. And so being able to adjust a little bit. So that's an area, we look to improve along with consistency.
Could you expand that discussion to the offense in general? What do you think you need to do to get the offense back where you want it?
You can see this league. Like, it's kind of some of these games are brutal that you watch, and I think what you want to be able to do is have consistency enough in the plays that you're running that you got confidence whatever you're running against, and that's always a fine line because you don't always know exactly what you're going to see that you're going to run it against. But that's it. I mean, it comes down to the foundation of what you want to do. You want to be balanced. You want to utilize your personnel to your best, so you get to a bye week and you think, right? You think regardless if you had a bye week or not, you think, okay, what's working well, what's not? If we're making changes, what changes do you make? Is it personnel? Is it player for player? Is it personnel groups for different packages taking the field? Is it a different concept? Is it just cleaning up something that you're doing, but you can get better at that thing if you rep it in practice, if we get all the looks we need? So you beat yourself up in about a million different ways, but the idea is you want to help this group be at their best. And we're at our best, I think, when we're balanced, when we're playing off the run with the pass, when we're playing off the pass with the run, and we need to get back to that.
Paul was saying yesterday, you guys used three wides a lot more, both last year and this year. How has the running game changed? He said that we did 5 years ago. So how do you think the running game has kind of changed?
I think we've used three wides a lot more this year than we used it last year. And the reason I say that is because you're down in numbers at the tight end position. You just don't have as many guys. And so just to even practice it, we got Cormac over there battling, and he's doing a good job. But it's just different, and so what you do is you don't cover your edges quite as clean. You can't always have a guy on both edges. You can't at times get big and yet have athletes that can spread out and do things. And so, it takes away a little bit there. But then you stop to think and go, okay, I got some great wide receivers. I got great 11 personnel. How do I utilize them better in some situations? And so that's kind of where we're just pushing and shoving and trying to find that right mix.
You mentioned a couple weeks ago you had some guys banged up, Urban in particular. Do you think this bye week has helped get the line pretty healthy?
Yeah, I do.
I
do. Yep, I do. Badge has been battling through things all year, and he's still kind of getting there. But I think the bye week definitely helped him, and definitely helped Third. So I expect that group to be healthy.
You were talking before about this consistency on the line and guys handling roles. How much did they have injuries, and also the fact that you were using a guard rotation? How much do you think that stuff impacted the play or the continuity of the five spots on the line?
Well, I would say being a little bit chipped at times kind of always gets you. It gets you when you go through spring ball, when you go through fall camp, when guys aren't available, they just aren't in there as much together. The guard rotation was more because you're trying to find the best guys, and no one's really necessarily stepped up and said, boom, this is mine, I'm freaking playing at a level that's different. You know what I mean? And so that's the battle, right? That's the battle you got, because you are going to have a guy out and you want that next guy to be ready, but you also want to build that continuity a little bit. So that's what I'm trying to get into.
You mentioned a couple weeks ago the competition in practice being offense and defense. How does Phantom Hicks battle guys like Cephas and Danny Davis?
Oh, great. And, you know, and as you get into the season, you know, we'll get a little bit more of that just at the beginning of practice, and a little bit more of that. They'll get it in one-on-ones and some things of that nature. But, you know, there's great competition between the groups. So you get the first groups out there against each other. It's really good. The hard part is usually what you're practicing against is dramatically different from what they do.
Sure.
What we do is dramatically different from what they're going to see. So as much as it's awesome to have that high-level competition, and you do have it every week, the amount of it is, you know, are they valuable reps from the standpoint of what you need to get? So we utilize it all the time, and you see great competition out of Phelan as you do out of all those guys.
When it comes to Iowa's defense, what stands out just overall as a general feeling when you face a scheme like that?
I just think they have great understanding with what they do. They believe if each guy out physicals, plays their role to the hilt, you know, that they're going to stop you, you know, and they've done that. They've done that to teams all year long. So got a lot of respect for what I see out of their D, but it's a belief as much as each guy just doing their job, you know, to exactly the way it's detailed.
It's no picnic going from Ohio State's defense to Iowa's defense, is it?
No, none of it is. None of it is. You know what I mean? But it's fun. You know, I take our group every time, and it's fun getting this group ready, and you know, new challenge and new thoughts rolling, and let's go.
As you are preparing, they're top 15 defense, I think, in a lot of major categories. For your line specifically, what do you think you guys need to do well to play well enough to beat that Iowa defense?
I think big thing is being fundamentally sound, being consistent. You know what I mean? And then just playing physical and bringing that to the table. You know, but you can't get to that last piece if you're not doing those little things in the front end. So that's it.
Some of the defensive guys talked about preparing for Iowa, kind of like preparing for yourself, going against yourself. Do you see the same thing going against or preparing for their defense?
Yeah, just a different type of defense. You know, I could see defensively them saying that because a lot of similar schemes, a lot of similar alignments. You know, defensively, the kind of the thing that we take is you take away just the group that's very detailed in what they do. You know, guys are going to be smart. They're going to be in the right spot. They're going to play their techniques the same way. So in that respect, no question.